Hello. Today we're going to talk about question number 3. So let's set this up now. We talked about question number 1, which is what do you want? Question number 2 is what's holding you back. And question number 3 is what cost is that to you? Or what are you paying personally for continuing to hold back, to not take that action, to not address that thought pattern, to not stop that habit, to not do something that you need to do physically, mentally, emotionally? Now that sounds kind of funny that might be an issue for some of us because, we're bold and we're brave and we're high adrenaline and we're high performance and, we get stuff done. And so it kind of contradicts, like, well, what do you mean you're not moving forward, or you're not making a decision, or you're not solving a problem, or whatever it might be for you? Because it could be a lot of things. It doesn't have to be a physical action. It could be a thought process that you're not addressing. It could be some behavior things that you're not doing. It could be something very simple. Well, we'll get into some examples here in a minute. So let's say that you are not moving forward, and whatever it is, you're not moving forward, and it's not happening. Let's think about the cost that you could be paying for that, because sometimes if you recognize the cost to yourself, that can get you in some action. It might make you address what's happening. So one of the most obvious things, when we mention the word cost, the easiest thing to go to is money. And you're like, well, nothing I do costs me money. Well, maybe it's what you don't do that costs you money. And a really simple example of that is you haven't taken care of your banking or your finances. And so you have late bill pays, and you're paying fees, and you're paying more interest than you should. All those things happen because you haven't taken care of your business. Now, of course, there's some reasons why you haven't done it. It's not usually just laziness. It's usually something else. But we're looking at the cost right now. I want you to think of the cost of that. So by you not setting up bill pay, by you not getting automatic bills and deposits and stuff like that, it could cost you money. And another cost, somebody like me, investments scare me to death. It just, because I don't know a lot about it. And I'm a Dave Ramsey person. He's like, you don't know it, don't do it. So I have lost some money because I have been apprehensive in my younger years to make investments. So I look back now and I recognize it. It was fear. It was definitely fear. I'm not going to go into the solutions of that. I'm not going to go into the how comes. We're just right now talking about what does it cost if we don't move forward. So in my case, it cost me money now that I've retired in my investments because I was afraid to make a decision about the money, about the investments. So another thing it could cost us, I think what comes to mind pretty easy, is time. For whatever reason, whatever it is that's stopping us, whatever it is that we're not doing can cost us time. And a really simple thing on that one is organization. Organizing your day, scheduling. How many times do you forget to do something, have to do it the next day, or you rush out, or you miss an opportunity? How many times are you the last one to get someplace? How many times you just flat forget stuff, or you're driving around in circles and you haven't even put gas in the car and all the rest is because you're not organized, you're disorganized. So it costs you time. It costs you time. And so we've talked about money, and we've talked about time. Some of the things that maybe aren't as obvious, and that is our dignity. There are things that we don't take care of in our life that can cost us our dignity. And it might be that we stay in a relationship that we know we shouldn't be in, or better yet, we get into a relationship that we shouldn't be in because for whatever reason we didn't make the decision or we didn't take the action to protect ourselves, and we got into this relationship and it just wasn't for us. It didn't serve us. We weren't at our best in that situation. And even if you got out quickly, there's still potentially a price to pay for that. But let's say that you stayed in it for a while, and the damage that you're doing to yourself, not only are you paying a price for it right now, in the real time right now, but think about it in the future. Think about when you go into your next relationship, the damage that's being done to you now, your dignity taking those hits now. Potentially you could really pay a price for that later. And speaking of relationships, if you don't make the right decisions, if you don't take the right actions, if something's holding you back, your relationships could suffer from that. The relationships that you missed out on, that you never even had the opportunity to have because, well, you're a mess, or you're in a relationship and for whatever reason, you're not able to keep up your end of it, and you hurt yourself and you hurt somebody else, and you miss the chance of having that relationship also. So these are just a couple examples of what it can cost each of us if we're not taking care of the thought process, if we're not taking the actions that we need to do, if we're not examining and making decisions when it comes to our mental, physical, and emotional well-being. I sound like negative Nelly right here, and that's not my intention. But we do pay a price, and sometimes the price we pay is minimal for what the experience we got out of it. People say, "Well, it was worth it." Sometimes you're like, "Ooh, that wasn't worth it. I would do it differently." So we're not going into the whys right now. I just want you to think about the cost, the price that you pay by not being aware of your thoughts, not doing right by your thoughts, not taking the time. That's another thing when I was talking about time. Take the time to make your thoughts. Give that to yourself. Now, I know we're all fast moving, we make fast decisions, we're used to danger and all the rest of that stuff like that. But if you can, going back to the gap theory, if you can spread the time out that you have to make a decision, or spread the time out that you have to take an action, that could be very, very beneficial to you. So you want to be able to take all the facts, all the feelings, all your ideas, all your dreams, all that. Don't discount any of it. Take all that into play, and then see why you're not moving forward, and then ask yourself the cost. What is the cost? So this was video 3. We're gonna have a couple more after this, and you might be saying, "Kimberly, why do you care? Why do you know about this?" Well, because been there, done that, and this is what I do now. I love helping other women. I like helping successful, high-octane women get to where they want to be. I want them to not be in survival mode all the time, stop fighting everything, really take a chance to find out who they are and what they want, and I'm willing to help you get there. So, talk to you later. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.